2000 in 2016, I was living with my boyfriend Jordan at the time. Um, I was suffering from some very severe undiagnosed mental health issues, and I was drinking often, blacking out. I had sent Zoe to live with her dad, and being the apathetic parent that he is, he sent her to my parents in Alaska. My boyfriend, in the middle of a very severe blackout where I was pretty much fighting my entire tribe, all my cousins and everything in our house, decided he thought it was in my best interest to go and stay with my parents. And I explained to him, and I cried, I screamed, I can't live with my parents. My parents do not care about me like people think they do. And they would do a certain dance in front of company, and then they have always done a completely different dance behind closed doors, and that it wouldn't be a good idea to send me to them. But sure enough, he did. Um, my friend took me to the New Orleans airport, and by the time I realized exactly where I was going, I was already in Seattle, Washington, on the way to stay with my parents. I arrived. My stepdad met me at the airport, took me to Palmer, Alaska, where they both live, and brought me to their home. They allowed me to basically sober up, um, have the night's rest. We didn't talk that entire day or evening, but they just let me know, okay, you tried it your way, and you're gonna do it my way. And in my head, I'm already like, no, I'm never gonna do it your way, because your way is not the right way. It's not right. It's not right, and it's only monetarily motivated. So the next morning, we got up. We all had, my mother and my stepfather had a conference, and they let me know that I would be going to work as a maid on the slope, and that they would be taking care of Zoe. I would be going to work, I think it was like 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks on, 1 week off, or something like that. I'm not doing that. I already have severe post traumatic stress disorder due to several sexual assault SA happenings, along with, now that I am diagnosed, along with bipolar 2 this diagnosis and a borderline personality disorder. At the time, I knew that going to be a maid up on the slope where they are often sexually assaulted and with zero recourse, I knew that was not going to be the answer. And I said directly to my mother, see, this is why I do not come to you for help. Absolutely not. No thanks. And I got up and I went to walk downstairs. Out of nowhere, my 6'3" stepdad comes barreling down the stairs and starts to choke the life out of me. This is the first time I've ever been choked to within an inch of my life. I could see the blacking out. My little brothers reacted so beautifully. Thank God for my beautiful little brothers. Jumped on my dad, and it took both of them in their teenage years to grab him off of me, pull him off of me. I jumped up, I ran into my mom's office downstairs, grabbed my daughter and my purse, and ran out the front door. Zoe had no shoes on. I grabbed a pair of velvet slip-ons, purple velvet slip-ons that I had come from Louisiana with. I remember it vividly. I had an orange purse and a book by Judd Apatow, where he'd been interviewing all the comics over his lifetime. It was a great book. I picked up my daughter. I ran out of the house, and I heard, "Get my baby. I'ma shoot that motherfucker. Give me my gun." So I ran to the middle of my cul-de-sac. This was my stepdad who said that. I ran to the middle of my cul-de-sac with my baby in my hand. She may be 3 or 4 years old. I ran to the middle of the cul-de-sac. This is 2016, so she was 4. I ran to the middle of the cul-de-sac, and I dropped down, and I screamed at the top of my lungs because just cat a corner to us is a trooper that lives in the neighborhood, and I just wanted anybody to come out and see and know what was happening. And it bought me enough time. It shocked my family enough that it bought me enough time to get up with my child and run out of the neighborhood. A lady who overheard the circumstance picked us up, explained that there's a shelter right around the corner, which I had never seen. I grew up in Palmer my whole life, and I guess less than a mile away was Alaska Family Services. So she took us there, checked in, and from there, it didn't take me long because I work very hard and I take care of my child to the best of my ability. It took me maybe a month and a half to get a job, an apartment, a vehicle, Zoe in Head Start, and in gymnastics, and I got out of that bitch. And it wasn't super easy. We went maybe 2 blocks down the street to the apartments right around the corner from Alaska Family Services, and I bought a Ford Explorer, which is why I will never in my life ever buy an Explorer ever again. It got me from that shelter to that apartment and died, and I did not ever get it started ever again. But God, my goddess, the mother of my life, the guardian angels that she sent in with me, and all of my ancestors who have been with me from the jump, ensured that so long as I kept putting my feet forward and relied on only myself, Zoe and I would be taken care of. And now I know why. Because this is not new. It's not new in my family. It's not new in the South. It's not new anywhere. This is what happens, and why so many of the mothers in my family either stay in these situations and end up hating themselves and hating their children, and by default corrupting and morphing and mutating the next generation, or they end up like me. And there's not a lot of us who are brave enough to end up like me. There are not a lot of us with the courage to be able to sit out here and be committed to not living in bondage. But that also comes with the fact that I am outside in Alaska in the rain in September, freezing nightly. And that will not happen to Zoe. So I'm dry snitching.